Donna Montacone, the former Yale nurse who pleaded guilty in March to stealing fentanyl intended for patients of a Yale fertility clinic where she was employed, was sentenced to 3 years of supervised release, 4 weekends of incarceration, and 3 months of home confinement.
The judge did exhibited great discretion in her ruling. She had a complicated case.
His law firm has been contacted by over 30 fertility patients who were victims over several months when they experienced excruciating pain during procedures. That's because Montacone had stolen and used the fentanyl and refilled those vials with saline, which many patients received.
I think the judge really hit the nail on the head when she asked, just rhetorically, how does this, aren't there oversight, isn't there safety net? Essentially said, isn't there like somebody else who's also looking after drugs, not just one person?
Montacone had access to this medication because she was responsible for the inventory at the clinic. One of the victims who spoke during sentencing and had no comment after court is an emergency room doctor trying to conceive. And she looked at Montacone saying, "You kicked us while we were down."
There's still a lot of questions that need to be answered here, and we're going to be looking for Yale for those answers.
Montacone says she started using because of stress over a broken marriage and an ex-husband she claims she's afraid to leave her 3 children with. And the judge said that was a factor in her lenient sentence. Attorney Koskoff says, depending on Yale's response, there very well could be a lawsuit filed. Here in New Haven, Tony Terzi, Fox 61 News.